This is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. Welcome back to my channel, everybody, and hope all of you guys are having a great day so far. Now we have a ton of news to go over in today's video. The Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is trying to stop Democrats from passing a sweeping spending bill. But there's some good news. Monthly stimulus payments will begin being sent out very soon. Everybody, do you support the fourth stimulus check of $1,000 and even $2,000 a month? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Because on this channel, I always do my best in providing you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news.
The hotel's increase in both wages and benefits. The hotel, which is on a major bus line, raised its starting wage to $13.50 an hour, the second increase in 2 months. It also offers benefits and a $50 a month transportation allowance. The number of applicants shot up to 40 from a handful the previous month after the second wage increase.
Now, the $1,400 stimulus checks that began hitting Americans' bank accounts in March have been a lifeline for a lot of households. This especially applies to those who have struggled with income loss in the course of the crisis. In May, the US unemployment rate dropped to 5.8%, the lowest level since the start of the crisis. Furthermore, jobs are apparently so abundant in some parts of the country that individual states have pulled the plug on boosted unemployment benefits ahead of schedule, citing local labor shortages as the reason why. But the good news is that in a few weeks, Americans will have an additional income stream to look forward to. In addition to allowing for a round of stimulus checks and boosted unemployment benefits, the American Rescue Plan also boosted the child tax credit. Now, that credit has for the past number of years maxed out at $2,000 for dependents under the age of 17. But now it's worth up to $3,000 for dependent age 6 to 17. And up to $3,600 for children under the age of 6.
So the truth is that real wages in America today are lower than they were 48 years ago. The very, very rich are getting richer. And what some of us are saying is if we're going to retain the faith of the American people in their government, we're going to have to stand up for them and not just the big money interests. So let me just tell you what is going to be in this bill. First of all, you got to deal with climate. Right now, the West Coast is, aflame in a sense. It's record-breaking heat wave, Australia, etc. We have got to deal with climate. And if we do not significantly invest in transforming our energy system, future generations will never forgive us.
Normally, the child tax credit is paid in one lump sum in the form of a tax refund. This year, it's working differently, and that half of the credit will come in the form of advanced monthly payments, the first of which is set to go out on July 15th, and the last of which will be issued in December. The remainder of the credit will then be paid in 2022 as a lump sum. It's estimated that 39 million families will be eligible for the child tax credit this year. Let's remember, everybody, that while the US jobless rate is down on a whole bunch of points, many people are still having a difficult time re-entering the labor force. Now, those monthly child tax credit payments are also coming at a time when a lot of people are losing their $300 weekly unemployment boost. That aid has already been cut off in a number of states, and while it's set to expire in early September under the American Rescue Plan, more states could still put an end to it ahead of schedule. As such, those installment payments could be coming at a better time. In fact, some families may be in line for a lot of money in the coming months via the child tax credit. Furthermore, while the expanded child tax credit only applies to the 2021 tax year, lawmakers are fighting to keep it in place for longer, which would give families a larger windfall to look forward to in the future. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell just called on Democratic leaders in Congress to commit to separating a bipartisan infrastructure deal reached last week from a sweeping spending bill that is expected to pass with party line support, after President Biden clarified the two were not linked. In a statement, Mitch McConnell said, "Republicans have been negotiating in bipartisan good faith to meet the real infrastructure needs of our nation. The president cannot let congressional Democrats hold a bipartisan bill hostage over a separate and partisan process." Just hours after he announced a deal that had been reached between the White House and a bipartisan group of 10 senators on a $1 trillion plan. The plan is more narrow than President Biden's sweeping package that was put forth earlier this year, and focuses on traditional infrastructure like roads, bridges, railways, and broadband. After he touted the agreement, Biden suggested he would only accept the bipartisan legislation if a more sweeping measure encompassing many of his infrastructure priorities also makes it to his desk. The legislation, which will be passed through a process known as budget reconciliation, is expected to garner only Democratic support, and will include his policies on childcare, education, and healthcare, known as the American Families Plan. McConnell also said on Monday that President Biden appropriately delinked the bipartisan infrastructure bill from the larger spending package, which does not need Republican support to pass. He said, "Now I'm calling on President Biden to engage Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi and make sure they follow his lead." What are your thoughts on this, everybody? Will President Biden send out a fourth stimulus check this year? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. As always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate everyone's amazing support.
The Senate has its chosen priority in a bipartisan bill, and the House has its priority in its reconciliation bill. And so the Senate doesn't run the show. The Senate doesn't tell the White House what to do. The Senate doesn't tell the House what to do. They're a co-equal partner in all of this. And so if the Senate really wants to run with their bipartisan bill, and they want to get on that.
Well, David, this group of senators, 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats, will pitch the president on an agreement they reached last night for a framework for infrastructure. The price tag will be about $1 trillion. $559 billion of that is new spending, but we haven't heard much yet on how it will be paid for, which of course has been the biggest roadblock so far. Now, both the timing and the process are tricky here. This bipartisan infrastructure deal is a lot smaller than the $4 trillion in spending on physical and human capital that President Biden had originally laid out. So progressives want assurances that the rest of the agenda won't fall by the wayside if the president cuts a deal with Republicans. Last night, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he's still forging ahead with that budget reconciliation process that would allow Democrats to pass a tax and spending bill without any Republican votes. He said it's not one or the other, it has to be both.
We can't get the bipartisan bill done unless we're sure of getting the budget reconciliation bill done. We can't get the budget reconciliation bill done unless we're sure of the bipartisan. And I think our members across the spectrum realize that.
Now, remember, that reconciliation package is expected to raise taxes on corporations and the wealthy. But a source tells me Democrats are also considering setting aside $120 billion to lift the limits on state and local tax deductions. Carl, as you know, that is so important to folks in New Jersey, New York, California. A lot of Democrats in those states are demanding it. Back over to you.
The SALT element definitely making some news today. Elon, thank you.
In 2008, he said that he would not cut Social Security. We want the president to remember what he said and not go back on his word.